Welcome to Patriotic Vision. My name is Chris Wills, and today I'm joined by Burke Bero, who is the president of the St. Anselm College Democrats. On the campus of St. Anselm is where we saw the Republican candidates for president earlier this week. Monday, CNN aired their debate, really the first major debate of the 2012 presidential race. And Burke got to be on the ground, working a little bit with CNN, seeing what was going on behind the scenes. So we invited him today to join us as a patriotic observer to share with us what he saw and what his observations were. So, Burke, what would you say, if you had to assign a headline, what would wrap up what you saw at the Republican presidential debate on Monday?
The Republican Party is trying to step forward into a world where President Obama has a firm grip on politics right now.
Okay. Would you say that, I don't want to put you on the spot, but as a Democrat, would you be able to say that there was anything real positive that happened at the debate that really stood out at you and maybe one of the candidates that kind of surprised you with something in a positive way?
Two things. I really thought that Governor Pawlenty had a great point when he said the next leader of the Republican Party as the next presidential candidate and as the next president, be it Obama or one of the Republicans, must be able to unify the parties and truly lead the country. And I thought that really hit home on multiple levels because though I felt like he was mostly talking about the Republicans that whoever the candidate was would have to unite the Republican Party and really focus it, I felt it also spoke to the leader's ability to gather different people and different groups and different interests and really focus for the country. That's ultimately the goal of our system of government. And
Absolutely.
The second thing was I really thought that Mitt Romney, as the perceived frontrunner, has decided that he's going to go after Obama no matter what any of the other candidates have to say, one way or the other.
Absolutely. I agree with both of your assessments. Followed the debate very closely, but definitely I think you picked up on those two things. One thing that surprised me, a lot of people counted Newt Gingrich down and out, thought his campaign was over, with a lot of his campaign managers 86ing his campaign and running for the hills, apparently. He certainly proved his ability to debate well. As a matter of fact, right after the debate, I updated my own Facebook status, and basically my headline was, Michelle Bachmann is in. She officially declared her candidacy actually on the debate using that platform. Newt Gingrich proved himself to be a good debater, I thought. Mitt Romney defending Obamacare, that was something that he was hard-pressed on. And then, of course, you had Tim Pawlenty. I thought one of the more interesting things was he practically gave Sarah Palin an endorsement at the end of the debate when he was asked who made the better VP choice in 2008. Those were some of the interesting things that I picked up. And now I put you on the spot asking you for something positive from a Republican candidate. I'll tell you what I was really disappointed in. Frankly, very disappointed in Herman Cain. Herman Cain making that comment, trying to justify his explanation to a reporter that he would be uncomfortable with a Muslim in his cabinet. And then, trying to backtrack that in a really uncomfortable way, saying that, well, he was talking about the dangerous Muslims or the ones that are trying to kill us. He wasn't talking about the peaceful ones. And I thought that equivocation was absolutely terrible, gave me a terrible taste in my mouth. And then Newt Gingrich came to his rescue. I thought it was kind of weird that he had to come to his rescue and kind of explained, making a little bit of sense of the issue, reminding us that the Times Square bomber going before a judge asks him, you're a sworn citizen of the United States of America, swearing an oath to the Constitution. How do you set up a bomb in Times Square? And the guy says, well, I'm your enemy. I lied, and that's a kind of valid point. But at the same time, I caution Herman Cain and all the presidential candidates on either side, or really all Americans, let's think before we speak and really think about how we characterize our philosophical and religious perspectives and points of view. At the end of the day, none of us wants anyone that's going to harm the United States of America or be against our Constitution, especially at the highest levels of government. I thought it's just it's kind of a moot point, and I really felt I was very, very disappointed in Herman Cain in that answer. Anything in particular that you were disappointed at?
Certainly, I can also say I was very disappointed in that answer. It's not part of my personal beliefs that I tend to be a very open-minded and accepting person just myself, never mind my political affiliation. So therefore, I was disappointed in that answer. I felt like part of it may have been just he's on a national stage. It was an awkward question. He maybe didn't have the best answer for it and had to try and backtrack.
Okay.
I actually personally was very disappointed by Michelle Bachmann's accusation that the EPA was really hurting job growth in the United States. And that she said that it was one of the things that she was looking to really scale back and maybe even eliminate in the hopes of trying to stimulate job growth and spur the economy. We're talking about the future of not only ourselves, but of our nation and even our planet. And the EPA is primarily designed to protect our natural resources and the things that we've come to take for granted. Coming from Massachusetts and New Hampshire and New England, we had a lot of polluted rivers, very toxic areas in Mass that really had to get cleaned up during the 60s and 70s. So hearing that was kind of discouraging to say, job growth, well, yes, but if the planet's trashed, I don't know. I feel like there's a bigger, higher cause that the U.S. can move forward with the EPA. I really can't speak to whether it hurts job creation or not. Maybe she knows more than I do, but as somebody who likes looking at the big picture, that really disappointed me that she wasn't willing to look more than a few years ahead to something that could be a big problem.
There's a lot of people out there that feel that the Republican Party is not necessarily in step with the environmental movement. There are some Republicans that have tried to get more green, if you will. There are some valid arguments on both sides, but certainly getting rid of the EPA, I don't think necessarily is the right direction to go in. So I'll agree with you on that point. Just lastly on this particular topic, there were a lot of issues that were covered by the Republican candidates. The moderator of the debate, John King, I felt did a decent job. A lot of people harped on him with his grumblings and stuff in the background as he tried to interrupt each and every one of the candidates to keep them going and keep them moving along. I personally like the guy. I interviewed him a couple years ago, and think him and Anderson Cooper, Candy Crowley, they've got a great team there at CNN to cover politics. Really covered a large base. I was personally a little bit also disappointed in some of the Republicans' position on a gay marriage amendment, making it a national thing. Actually, there was one point where I actually was proud of Herman Cain, saying it should be left at the state level. But they covered everything from economics at the beginning, domestic policy, foreign policy. What would you, Burke, say is the one issue that you want these presidential candidates, including President Obama, to focus in on as we approach the November 2012 election? And what is the most important issue to you, and what do you want to hear them talk about at the next debate?
I really, I do think, as a somewhat fiscal conservative myself, I do think the budget is really something that we need to focus on. Obviously, there's going to be no easy solutions, but as the so-called party of fiscal responsibility, they've tended to go away from that for the last 15, 20 years, and I would really like to see if they're going to hold that mantle and champion that horse. They really need to be the standard bearer for that, but back up their words with actions. And if they do, I think the country and the United States will be better for it. So I really think that that's something the Democrats can learn from, and I think that our whole country can learn from.
I would agree with you there. We're almost running out of time, so I would say what I would like to hear any of these presidential candidates talk about is restoring the greatness of America. You know, there was a time when people all over this world wanted to come to this country because they knew they could find a job, they'd have great economic prosperity ahead of them. We put a man on the moon, inspired the world with that, and a lot of things came as a result of our efforts in space, and just so many things that made America great and inspired the world. And we need to get somebody back on track that can help us rekindle that and help people kind of come together across this country so that we can, I guess, reignite that flame and make sure that it's up there on that shining hill for all to see. Mm-hmm. So that's what I hope we'll be hearing from all these presidential candidates in the coming months and ahead. And let's hope that they do that, because we'll all be better off for it. Anyways, Burke, we're completely out of time, but thank you very, very much for taking the time to join us again. Burke Bero, who is the president of the St. Anselm College Democrats. Thanks for joining us as a Patriotic Vision observer today. And please, all of you out there, if you would, like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter as well. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. But above all, please invite all of your friends, everyone that you know, to take a look at the issues that we face as Americans through Patriotic Vision.